I'm ready to go. Um,
And so we'll be live on Facebook the whole hour.
oh,
Since there's no way, like that's the only difference with being in the studio.
uh-huh.
There's no way to shut it down during the breaks.
Okay.
Um, so we'll just, read the comments or keep the conversation light until we get back on air. But
Okay.
I'll like raise my hand or kind of, do something to let you know we're getting ready for a break.
Okay.
Okay. So are you all going to do any kind of virtual celebrate? Just, kind of.
We do. They sent out a link for us to help have this virtual. It's not a webinar, but it's like a live stream through It's not Venmo.
Okay.
What is it? You know what I'm talking about?
That
It's
other streaming
yes,
something.
not a Facebook. Yeah, it's not Facebook Live, but it's something kind of like that. They're doing a live stream this afternoon. Well, actually, on Sunday is the no Saturday. What's the 16th? The Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it'll be Saturday. Um, and they have something today, but
Okay. So,
yeah,
so I'm hitting
it's just
live.
okay.
Let me go back. All right. So good timing. So good morning, everyone. Alrighty. We're going on air in a few short moments here. So just want to give a shout out to all the lovely ladies of the Crimson and Cream, the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It is their Founders Day. I have way too many friends near and far to shout out anybody. So just a collective happy Founders Day to all of you all. I know my timeline is going to be flooded soon between today, tomorrow, and well, today, Friday, and Saturday. Because the Zeta's up next, and then the AKA, well, AKs and Zetas.
Yes.
Yes. Oh goodness. So I know you ladies are excited to celebrate your rich history, and I can't wait to get into this conversation. So for those who don't know, they'll get to know a little more about you all and what you do in your community, in your respective communities. So for those listening on air, listening on Facebook, we'll be going live on air. Let me turn my ringer. Last thing I need is Bad Mama Jam to start playing in the middle of the show. I was on a Zoom call one day and it was my turn to speak my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I want to say good morning to Jessica McDuffie, who's checking in already. Thank you so much. And there's some other people that are watching. I can't see their names. If you would like to give a shout out, just drop your message in the Facebook live feed. Um, I know there's quite a few of your sister or your sorority sisters that are at work. I'm sure they're gonna check in, sneak and
I
check in
know.
later.
I did a little rearranging myself so I could be here.
Well, I really appreciate it so much.
No, no problem. I should have taken the day off. I don't know why. It's almost like my birthday.
So do you have to go in later today?
Yes, yes. I will
Okay.
be at the hospital from 12:30 to 9 tonight.
Oh,
Um, working.
all right. We're about to go live in just a few seconds.
Okay.
Good morning and happy Wednesday to each of you out there. You're tuning in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Today is Crimson and Cream Day with the lovely ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am joined by Dr. Lisa Jones Matthews. How are you doing today? Happy Founders Day.
Thank you. Thank you. I am awesome. I am awesome today.
All righty, so we're gonna not delay the conversation and just go ahead and get right into it. Today is all about you all, and so please brag on yourself. Feel free to brag on yourself, and but let's talk about the when and where of Delta Sigma Theta. When were you founded?
Well, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 13th, 1913, on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., by 22 dynamic women who saw a purpose to impact the world.
Okay,
So that is what we do.
and I must say, not because I have a lot of friends in the organization. I have friends all over, but
Mhm.
I have personally seen the work that you all have done. Even in high school, my life was impacted by ladies
Mhm.
of Delta Sigma Theta. They have mentoring groups, and so I've
Yeah.
seen the work that you all do in your respective communities. So I wanted to say thank you for that. Again, sorry, I'm taking sides. I just know people. I go way back. So okay, moving on. Let's talk about that time period and what it must have been like for those ladies. 1913. Women didn't have the right to vote. There was
Um,
still some civil, not some. There was still a lot of civil unrest,
mhm.
segregation, prejudice, discrimination, like all that stuff. So, can you speak on that a little bit?
Well, our founders saw a need to impact the world as far as not so much even socially, but just going out and politically impacting the world, making a change in the situation and plight of women and Black women in particular. And so the first service project was the Women's Suffrage March, um,
Okay.
going out to march for something that no one wanted for them, going out as women who look different from the other women that were out there, and marching for something that that would still be years and years before they even got the same rights. I think people don't realize that Black women in general have always carried a lot of the responsibilities of the world on our shoulders, as far as impacting our children, impacting our communities, and impacting our world. If you go back, they say behind a good man is a really good woman. Behind everything is a really good Black woman. I hate to be like that, but I'm just going to say it.
Look, we have the right to pop our collars just, a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, I have celebrated. I've looked at the news and I've had to step back from it. But when I tell you a sister of the D9 has gotten up here and impacted her world and is being a representative, everyone has won. Every person has truly won. She is representing Black girls who are out here saying, I can do it. She is representing Black women who said, I can help do this. It's just amazing to me. It's just amazing to me. It's like everyone has won, even though there's this shadow of people who don't want us to win. You know,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
I mean, I smile in my heart. I smile in my heart every day.
Awesome. All right, we have some more shout outs this morning. Good morning, Ty Jackson, who's checking in. Linda Johnson Frazier says, good morning, Kelly K, and hello, Lisa. Carlisa says, greetings, Madam President. Ooh, ooh. And good morning to my sister, all in Arizona, Miss Gwen Henderson. Thank you all so much for checking in this morning. All right, so let's talk about your programmatic thrust on the national level, and then we'll get into the local chapter. Just want to, give everybody some basics of the national organization.
Well, nationally, Delta operates on a 5-point programmatic thrust. We work with educational development, international awareness and involvement, economic development, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement. Those are the tenets that we work off of. And so all of our programming that truly impacts our community is focused on that.
Okay, so let's just go through each of those. I remember a few years ago, you all did a spoons for Haiti. Spoons for Haiti, and I know every year that I can remember, you all have participated in the Heart Health
Mhm.
Awareness Month activities, And then there's a variety of other things that you all do. You just recently hosted um, a discussion on human trafficking. And so I was happy to be a part of that discussion. So tell us a little bit more about each of those other programs and what are some other things that you do on a local level?
Okay, here in Jonesboro, we try to make sure that we're aligned with our national programming. And I know sometimes people don't think about it, but um, the programming that they have even in Blytheville is going to look a little different than the programming that we have here in Jonesboro, just because of our demographics. You know,
Okay.
what our population looks like, we kind of have to work within those bounds, as far as making sure that we truly impact. And so for educational development, in the past, we've had gyms and academy, Delta Gyms and Delta Academy, but with COVID and just making sure that everyone stays safe, we've actually had to put a pause on that. And so currently, we're trying to make sure that we can impact our community educational wise by passing along information. If someone were to say, I need a person to come out and speak on scholarships, we have a person in the sorority who can go speak on that. If somebody says, oh, I need a speaker to talk to my girls about health, we have an array of health professionals who can go out and talk on that, to speak on that. Same thing with international awareness. We just hosted that Free the Girls human trafficking event, which was phenomenal, which my international awareness and involvement group they are the hardest working women right now. They have really put a lot into it. They hosted a forum for World AIDS Day that was awesome. Physical and mental health by being a pharmacist. I am passionate. I am truly passionate about us taking care of ourselves. I don't always take care of myself because as Black women, I feel like we always put ourselves second to push somebody ahead, whether it's a child, a parent, a mentee, just anyone that, we see as possibly helping or struggling. We're always pushing them forward to try to make them better and help give them a leg up in life because, nobody wants to start from zero all the time. Want anyone to suffer and go through some of the things that I've gone through when I can truly help you. Whether I tell you something, I can put you on to the right people, those are things that we can do on a regular basis, not you can profit off of me and I can profit off of you. Like it's not a transactional thing. I want it to be, I love you and I want you to succeed type of thing. Which I digress. Economic development. For our economic development, we have actually kind of dialed it in as far as with the source because we don't really have anybody that's their profession. And so they that way, but we have been encouraging our members as far as having savings challenges, trying to get information out about what interest rates are right now, just giving information so that we can develop ourselves because, just because just because you have an educational program, sometimes you need to educate yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
People realize that, I'm passionate about economic development, but I do not have a talent in that. That is not my expertise. And so I need that kind of influx of information to help me get better as far as savings, as far as being cognizant of hitting the add to cart buy now button on Amazon that has worn out on my phone and my computer. Those are things I just think people need to realize. Sometimes education is about educating yourself, developing
Yes,
yourself.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm currently in a trading academy, learning how to navigate the stock markets and increase my income in that arena. So
Love
it's
it.
challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time. So
I need that. That's something I don't think we think about in the long run of what true education is.
yes, ma'am. We have some more shout outs here, and we're gonna then I'm gonna talk about the local chapter, the Jonesboro alumni chapter. I want to say good morning to okay, Jessica McDuffie says awesome, well said. Miss Trina Long says happy Founders Day, Soror. Jessica says great service, great work, keep being the blessing. Um, Keandra Nicole says happy Founders Day, Soror President. Thank you all so much for checking in. All
I'm
right,
sorry.
so
I was smiling.
all right, so let's talk about and Mr. Derek Coleman says, good morning and a happy Founders Day to ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. Thank you, Derek, for checking in as well. Okay, so let's talk about the Jonesboro Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, when it was founded, where, and then, some of the founding members,
Okay,
or the founding members.
Jonesboro Alumni chapter here in Jonesboro, Arkansas was chartered on June the 28th of 1997 by 13 women. I do know some of these women personally.
Okay.
One of them are Stephanie Gumby. She was a financial aid officer at A-State back in the 90s. Know her. She was the one. Dr. Jennifer Rice Mason, Linda Whiteside. She's still a member of Jonesboro Alumni. Sonia D. Williams, who's still a member of Jonesboro Alumni. Norma Valley. I went to high school with her daughter.
Okay.
She was one of our charter members here for Jonesboro Alumni. I mean, just great, passionate women who knew that Jonesboro needed a Delta's touch. Just
Okay.
a little sparkle.
I can remember when I came to college, the 90s. We're just going to leave it at that. It was the 90s. I got to know a few of the ladies from the on-campus chapter, the undergrad chapter then. And again, some ladies took me under their wing. They had a mentoring program called Delta Peppermints. I don't even know if that's still in existence anymore. That's old school. But anyway, but again, the ladies, even on campus, their presence was known. They were trying to make a difference. And so I know that we have to talk about the undergrad chapter as well. They have made their resurgence. Let's talk about when they came back. How many ladies were on that line? That research that
My mind is bad. It was
it was over 30.
34,
It was quite a few of them.
33, 34, but it was powerful. I was initiated at Kappa Xi at Arkansas State back in fall of 99. 20 years here, over 20 years now. So
Okay.
It was just monumental in my spirit to know that I was helping to bring something back that I know can be impactful. I was already in my heart wanting to be a Delta. I'm from Blytheville, Arkansas, and I grew up around a bunch of strong women who were the most encouraging, well-spoken, not soft-spoken, truthful, truthful women that I had ever met. If there was something that they did not agree with, they would pull you to the side and say, baby, I need to talk to you. And it was always done with love.
That's
It was
awesome.
always done with love. And so when you have that kind of spirit, whether I agreed or not, whether I agree with what they said or not, because, as a teenager, I knew everything. I knew it all. As a teenager, I knew everything. But for someone to pour into you, and always and chastise you and let you know when you were wrong or right. It was just so impactful. And they were encouraging. They said, well, there is a way to go. Really only one way, baby, but I'm here if you need me. And that's what I always say. I'm here if you need me. And so today I could call. I'm here if you need me. And I love that spirit of sisterhood. I love that spirit of knowing that there is someone rooting for me who didn't give birth to me, but they have given birth to the desire for more learning, for more education and betterment. It's nothing like knowing that you have a cheerleading section, whether you're in front of them or not. Someone who's praying for you and always there. I love that. I love that in the sorority. I love it through all the sororities, because I have a twin sister. She is not a Delta. She is great.
Oh.
She is not a Delta, but she has always been very encouraging of me, so I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. But just knowing that there's Deltas out here who are making sure that we're impacting our community, trying to educate our youth, trying to keep people in the know of what's going on politically. I love knowing that we're out here and we're steady impacting our world.
Alrighty. Thank you. Want to say, Keandra says Keandra says it was 34 ladies on
34.
that.
I figured it was 34 because I had something in my mind that I want to say out loud, but I had something in my mind. 34. Ah,
And Miss Ty Jackson says, that's my president. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. All right, so let's talk about, in the midst of COVID, we have about 4 minutes left in the segment. In
okay.
the midst of COVID, things had to change drastically. You already had to put on pause your Delta gyms in the academy. And so, what else has been impacted? And then, how have you been able to navigate otherwise in the midst of this pandemic?
Well, COVID-19 has shut down the world. It has truly shut down the travel, it's shut down just how we interact right now. It's taken us to truly a virtual world. And so our programming has had to follow that because Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a corporation. We also have to be protective of our legacy. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that we translate our programming into a virtual setting. And it's
Okay.
been a little bit of a challenge, partially because everyone misses the human interaction part of going
Yes.
out and being a part of things. But looking at just how much you have work, how much work that we're doing online, how much all of our information, our social interactions are all online. It's kind of a struggle, as far as making sure that people see the information that you have. And I think every sorority and fraternity that has programming that they want to dial back to keep everyone safe has struggled just a little bit on that.
Mhm.
I'm I'm not gonna tell those tales here. I'm kind of zoomed out. I'm a little bit
Yes.
zoomed out. I love being able to see your beautiful face, but I want to see you. You know, I don't
Yes.
want to see you in a frame. I just want to be around people I know and love. And so that's one of the big things that COVID has impacted. It's just us being able to get together. So we've had to find creative ways, whether it's through Zoom. We had our Christmas party through Zoom. We've had like a service project, um, craft session. We craft session through Zoom. We made acorns for the UCA women's suffrage project that they had. We made a bunch of acorns and they put it out in the shape of a flag. And so they were asking different groups to make the acorns. And so we signed up as a chapter to make the acorns, and it was hilarious because some of us, it was hilarious because some of us are creative with our hands, and some of us are very meticulous in our thought processes, and we are not the most creative people. So the things that we made that didn't look like acorns, we worked them. We worked them out to where they all look like acorns. But it was so much fun. It was so much fun. But there's nothing like seeing somebody hugging them and just being around them. So I definitely miss that part of it. But that's the main thing, is trying to convert things into a virtual setting where people want to come in and be a part of it. Whether it's Facebook Live, making sure that we're still protecting our youth if any youth jump onto any of our events, because there are predators out here, and we still have to protect our children. But that's the main thing. It's just figuring out how to do it without um, without zooming people out. So I believe more so we need collaborations between the sororities and organizations that are focused in the Black community, making sure that, because we all are focused on the same thing, uplifting our community.
Okay. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, but we'll stay live on Facebook. I want to say good morning to Mrs. Pamela Coleman Kale. Says Happy Founders Day. Good morning, Madam President. Linda Johnson says Happy Founders Day. Jessica says McDuffie's Happy Founders Day. She is awesome and So is her mission and passion. Amen. We need more of her. And Brittany Lewis says, Happy Founders Day. Thank you all so much. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll still be live on Facebook. We'll be right back after these announcements. All right, so we're still live on Facebook. So I know, like as you were saying, it's really hard to, I say really hard. It's challenging to do everything virtual. I learned that during Kwanzaa, trying to put all these different things together. It's like it was just as much work as an in person.
It's harder. It's harder. You know, like, and I am a person who goes out and I love to speak. You know, I love to talk to people. I'm an introvert, but when I'm out, I love to be out, you know. But it's just, I just miss it. I didn't realize how much I love being at my house until I can only be at my house, you
Yeah.
know. But then I realized, oh, I really like getting out too.
Yes.
You know, I really miss that part. Even I'm not big on social media as far as, you know, I'm that horrible Facebook friend you're going to have. I'm going to wish you a happy birthday 3 months after your birthday. I'm going to ask you, oh, the baby grew up so much because the baby's now 10, you know, and I remember when they were 2. You know, I'm that kind of person, but I miss seeing you and having that one-on-one interaction, you
Yeah.
know, because it's really encouraging to see somebody and see their smile, you know. I don't think people realize it. It's really encouraging and loving to see someone and get a head nod because you know what's up. You know,
Yeah.
I miss that. You know, I just miss that part of it. Um, I don't know. I just miss the interaction and knowing that I can go out. You know, I think that's one of the bigger things people miss is knowing there's stuff out there to do.
Yes. And it kind of defeats the purpose. Well, not the purpose. For lack of a better word, it it dampens the whole community service aspect of, what you do. It's like, well, if I can't get out into the community, how can I still really service them efficiently, effectively, if I'm
Exactly.
not engaging with them? So
I mean, and I don't
yeah.
think people realize you know, my internet connection out here, because I stay right outside the city limits, is somewhat patchy, you know, but there's kids out there who they don't have that kind of, you know, they don't have any kind of access at all. And those are some of the people that we really want to get to. Those are the people we want to encourage and give this information to.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be going back on air in about few seconds. So I know we just got to learn how to navigate. It's gonna be challenging, but we can get through it. Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host, Kabila Jones, and my very special guest today is Dr. Lisa Jones Matthews, the president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Well, the president of the Jonesboro Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for every single person that has checked in so far. Miss Linda Johnson Frazier says, Lisa, I miss your beautiful face coming through Dillard's. Along with the Dillard's Divas this January 1st. This January 1st year wasn't the same without all of you guys.
Not, it was not. I look forward to seeing everybody out. I did not go. No, I did not go. I actually worked. I did work that day at the hospital, but I was just like, no, I've not been anywhere. I've not done anything as far as being out and about. I don't need to buy anything. We're in a pandemic. I have tightened the purse strings a little bit there. Truly
well,
have.
well, hopefully this year we can learn how to navigate. Because with Kelly K, we're trying to do not a lot of events, but we're just trying to be more engaging. And our first event that's coming up is Walk for Your Heart event for heart health awareness. So we hope to see some of you ladies out there, mask on, gloves on, whatever the case. So that'll be February 27th. We're going to do a cleanup on our adopted highway mile. So adopted mile. So more details about that will be coming out very soon. But putting it out there to everyone, we'd love to see you all out there. Protection, safety first, but come walk for your heart and clean up. But okay, moving on. So let's talk about, what impact you have felt that Delta has. Well, no, go back. Let's talk about why did you join, and then we'll get into the impact that it's made. So let's talk about your story.
Okay. Well, I went to school in Blytheville.
Okay.
Uh, Definitely college bound, because I knew that my family didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. When I was young, then my dad started working at the mill, made a whole lot better money. And so we had more opportunities, but when you don't know about money growing up and you're not taught, then you know that you have to work hard, whether it's through
Mhm.
education, getting a good job, and everything. So I was definitely college bound. But in high school, people like Norma Valley, Sue Jeffers, um, oh my goodness, I'm going to leave out so many names here, but they were some of the most encouraging women. It was always, you're doing a great job. We love you. It was just continuous pouring in. I could see them in the Bible community, cleaning up, educating, feeding the hungry and the homeless. I mean, it was anything that was going on in Blytheville, Adelta had her hand in it. She was stirring it up, serving it hot. I mean, all in it. And so when I got to Arkansas State, I already had a foundation of women who I only saw great things from.
Okay.
And so when I got to college, I was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. But this right here, yeah, this is what it is, And so I came in knowing that that's what I really would have, I wanted to do, because I wanted to be a part of the love and the sisterhood that I saw on a constant basis coming from Blytheville.
Wow.
When I got here, I saw Stephanie Gumby, and she was always very professional. Um, she was the advisor for quite a while, and I was like, oh, so she was a little bit more tough loving, because she's following directions and orders and doing things in a proper manner, but she was always really nice. So I was just like, I like her, so it just helped to feed on the love and the encouragement that I'd already had. So
Okay.
that's the reason why I wanted to be a doctor.
All right. And so you said 1999 was your year.
That was the year that I crossed Delta. I celebrated my 20 years. The other year I was on vacation. I took the whole week off to be
That's
a
awesome.
to be a 20-year-old 20 years old in Delta.
That's awesome.
Kicked
And
it from
that's
the time it started to the end. I might have slept a little bit because I'm older, but I kicked it.
But that speaks volumes to your dedication, your commitment, you being a part of the organization. And I'm sure many other women can speak to this. It's not about the letters. It's not about the color. It's not about the parties. Of course, that's the fun social side of everything. But there's all there's always business as well. This professional business nature that needs to be maintained at all times. Um, I can't imagine becoming a part of any organization, whether it's Greek, whether it's you're on a business level, um, and not being committed to the program, not being committed to the service. Like you just want to get in it for name only. That still serves you. It doesn't serve you at all. Just
Not at all.
becoming a part of something for name only.
Yes. Being a Delta, and I'm sure for the other Greeks, it's a lifetime commitment. It is truly a lifetime commitment. And I tell people that even if your finances um, don't work for you to be financial in Delta, that does not mean you're not a Delta, and that does not mean you cannot do some work to help. Because everyone has money struggles, especially when you're younger, going through things in your family. Uh, Sometimes getting your education. I tell people, hey, do you really need, some inches for Christmas, or do you need people to help you pay your dues?
Okay.
So ask for what you truly need. You can be a Delta and you can be as active as you want to. You can wear all the letters if you want to, but we need workers. We need people who are truly promoting Delta, who are out here impacting our world. Because I know financially, I was inactive at one point. I was in pharmacy school, dead broke, going through a divorce. It was tough. Moved out like homeless,
Oh
like
no.
that kind of divorce, like leaving,
Oh
leaving.
wow.
And I was inactive at that time. I was sleeping on a couch for a few weeks. But that's something that when I truly let my sorors know, they were like, you didn't have to do that. I'm trying to be grown and do it on my own. You don't have to do that. Sometimes it's about you talking to your sorors, talking to your family, and letting people know what's going on. Yeah, it was a private matter, but it was also a decision that I had made. So I want people to know that, if financially you can't do it, I understand that, but people make time and money for what's important to them. And I need you to know that Delta is important, and we need you to put some time in there. I tell people when they first come back, you do not have to come in and try to be vice president. You don't have to come in and run it. I need you to come in and put your passion in one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Put your passion in one thing, because as an undergrad, I realized how much free time I had.
Okay.
Mind you, I was taking 18, 19, 20, 21 hours when I was in school, but I realized how much free time I had. I did not have to clock in to nobody's job. I didn't have a huge family that I was, taking care of. It was just me and basically me and my twin sister. It was just the two of us, so it wasn't, I didn't have the responsibilities that I have now, and I try to tell people when you come into Delta, especially as an alumni member, join a couple of committees, try to participate in what you can, but don't come in and think you can conquer everything, because you have husbands, boyfriends, children, jobs, school, you know, professional certifications that you need to try to keep continuing to better yourself. And then you also have Delta, so just like you can't do everything for your children, you can't do everything at your job, you can't do everything in Delta. I need you to come in and focus and say, I am awesome at this. This is what I can bring to the table consistently, and just think of it that way. I just
I
don't want.
think that should apply. That can apply to even our own lives. Like, even if you're not a part of an organization,
Mhm.
find what you do well and do that. Don't
Right.
try to put your hand in every pot out
Yes.
there. I have had to learn it the hard way. So, find what you do well. I speak well. I do this well, and this is my arena.
And that's, I mean, I don't think people realize that what you do well, do it. I mean, do it with passion. Go out here and say, I can't be the DJ, but I can be your MC. I can't be the MC, but I decorate beautifully. We can't have an in-person meeting, but I can run this Zoom and watch the chat for you. There are things that you can do and bring to the table in any organization that will help build it up.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
will truly help build it up. And I really want people to think of things that way, because I think we're just not intentional with our lives sometimes, and we're trying to run around and do everything and be a part of everything. And we're not just saying, you know what, I'm really good at this. Let me continue to do this. Let me help somebody else develop that talent to do what I can do, so that there's two of us and we can divide the work up, you know.
Look, girl, you are on it today. Like, I have been
Mhm,
reading I've been reading this book, and it's backwards, but it's practicing Kwanzaa year round.
mhm.
And I am all about that village mentality. And what you just said is, it speaks to that. It's like, if we take on the responsibility of helping our brother and sister out in certain areas of their lives, um, look outside of ourselves. Stop just being all about ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, we can have a better community, a better society. I know that's wishful thinking and whatever, but it just takes one at a time. Just anyway, I'm not gonna get on that soapbox today. Don't
I'll
get me
give you
started.
some. Let's not. I love being. I guess right now I'm so excited to be interacting because I can sit at the house by myself quietly, enjoy it, enjoy the quiet and the peace, the good smells and being able to watch TV and stuff. But I miss this part of it. I miss being an encouragement to someone. I miss being a part of something bigger. So with Jonesboro alumni, our programming has changed a little bit when I talked about our demographics as a city. One of the things that we have and that I promote in our organization is that by us all being professionals and quite a few of us being younger professionals, and by us I mean some of them because I'm not as young, but by us being younger professionals, that and our demographics as a city, because the city of Jonesboro doesn't look like the city of Blavel. It looks totally different. So I promote people getting onto committees with other organizations so that you're in the know of what's going on and what's out there. Because right now I'm a part of Habitat for Humanity, trying to be a part of committees with like the American Cancer Society,
Okay.
just different organizations so that we'll be a part of it and know what's going on so that we can encourage our memberships and our community to support, whether someone is on the MLK celebration committee, like different things like that. Everyone can't be 100% part of it, but knowing about it sometimes helps, because I can't help something that I don't know anything about.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm very grateful that, Kelly K has this platform. Shout out to Lagenzi Kell for even coming up with this show concept. This allows me the opportunity to speak to individuals and groups to know what's happening so I can in turn take it back out. We can share the information, with everyone. So hope this show continues on as long as it can. And, for people like you and others for people like you and others to come on and share what you're doing, and how others can help in your efforts. So anyone else out there listening, we would love to know what's going on with you. So, ladies from Delta Sigma Theta or any other organization can try to be a part of what you're doing and to help keep that circle going, help keep those services going as
Yes.
efficiently and effectively as possible.
Yes, I
Um,
really appreciate Kaylee K for offering this as a platform for our community to know what's going on. And just so I can throw it out there, I think everyone should donate to Kaylee K. I do. I think you should too. Because this is a place that we can come that we know we're going to get information. It's not going to be biased. It's not going to be skewed. It is information and you need to process it. That's it. I love that. I love having this platform.
Thank you. And, I try to invite some of everybody. We've
Mhm.
got declined, from some people or in groups, but that's okay. The invitation's still open. Even if we don't share the same ideals, you're
Yes.
still invited to the table to have a discussion because that's all this is about a discussion. It's not about trying to sway one person's opinion, just putting information out there. So just want to put that out there. So thank you,
I love
Dr.
it.
Lisa.
I love, love, love that part of it. I love it. So,
All right, so I want to ask, you have talked quite a bit about, the impact Delta's had on you. What impact do you feel Delta's had on the community from your years of experience being a part of the alumni chapter? What impact have you seen um, in the
here,
community?
here in the community, I guess one of the biggest things I've seen is that Delta is truly strong in our education and our
Okay.
educational thrust. And so with our Delta Dear, Sonia D. Williams, she was an educator here in Jonesboro, and I have yet to see a person who has not met her who has not known her, who
Yes.
has not had a huge smile on their face when she comes around, because she's going to tell you what she thinks in the sweetest manner. in the sweetest manner, but it is going to be truthful and it is going to be positive to help you, you know. As far as going out here, we're always trying to figure out what our community needs. You know, do we need to put out more information about health? Do we need to put out anything else as far as whether it's about international awareness and involvement? I know the people who were on the call and on the Zoom for the human trafficking event, it was really good information. I mean, not
Mhm.
something that I truly would have thought about in Jonesboro, and it's happening right here. You know, whether it's sexual human trafficking or it's servitude, people serving in a position where they're not getting paid, they don't speak the language, just that's not something that I would think about just on a regular basis without knowing that. And so sometimes I think it's about putting information out to help our community that you would never think about. You would never know some of the stuff that's going on out here.
Yes, ma'am. And those type of conversations help us to become more aware. Um, I must admit, I've lived in Jonesboro since '95, and there was a lot of times I felt I just lived here. I wasn't engaged in anything Jonesboro. I just went to work, came home, raised my child. That was it. Um, it wasn't until about my 30s, sad to say, my 30s, that I was like, okay, this is what's really happening, around me. And I became more aware and cognizant, and I started to get a little bit more active into some community things. So I'm happy that I am more aware. God bless. But some things I guess I wish I didn't know, but now I know I have a responsibility to do something about it.
Right. Right. I don't think people think about that. Like coming from Blyville, it was easy for me to just show up to something, even as a teenager, just to show up to something and be like, oh, this is great information, not thinking that I might need to be that person in years to come.
Hmm.
I don't think we think about that. We think, oh, I know Miss Valley, she'll be here forever. No one's here forever. She was pouring into me to be able to pour into someone else, and at some point you have to say, okay, it's my time to start pouring into my community. It's my time to try to impact my community and get the information that my people need. And that time is now, while I'm still young enough to get around, I make pretty good money. I can afford to do some other things. I can go out here and let folks know what's going on in our community. I don't think people think about that. Your time is now. It doesn't start, might not be when you're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, but you're 25, 30, 35, 40. It's time to step up because
Yeah.
that's what your encouragers have been doing. They've been encouraging you to take over their spot.
There is an African concept, South African concept, and I'm gonna have to probably read it when we come back. But it's from the I'll read it when we come back because I don't want to run out of time. But it
Okay.
ties into what you just said, and basically it says, "I am because you are." We don't live in isolation. We depend on each other. But I'll get more into that when we come back. We're going to take another quick break. You're tuning in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we'll be right back. So I'm
I'm
all
sorry,
about
I'm everywhere. I just love
no,
talking.
but you got me thinking and like okay, and tying all of these concepts in together. How does all this work? And
Mhm.
so yeah,
Well,
my
I mean,
mind
think
is
about
like
it. Right now, when you said you're working on how you can do trading on the stock market. I mean, that's something I said, oh, I want to do that, but I'm not good at that. I haven't started. I just opened up an account. That's all I've done. Put a little money
yeah.
in it. It's just been sitting there. Nothing's going on, but I'm passionate about people in our community, people who look like me, actually leaving some kind of legacy, financial, educational, because you don't have to make a lot of money and leave a lot of money to somebody, to a person, to truly impact them.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just as your knowledge base. You've left your knowledge base. I don't have a lot of money, but I've learned about it.
Yes.
I told my mom a few, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, we were talking about taxes. And I was like, oh, they're eating me up, and she was like, well, how does this work? And I was like, Mom, we both took that H&R Block tax course. I took that course twice so I could learn something. I took that course twice. I took it 1 year, turned around, took it the very next year because I was learning, I was working, as a pharmacist, but I took that class because I wanted to know more about taxes. That's not something they teach in high school. That's not something I learned in college. That wasn't an elective, just an elective with my degree because I have a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room with my schedule, as far as taking different electives and stuff like that. But that's something I was curious about. What's the point in making good money if you don't know how to keep your money?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
What's the
And
point in making good money if all you know how to do is spend? You don't know how to save, you don't know how to allot, you don't know how to budget. I mean, yeah.
and that's
The
one
first
thing
time
I'm
I had
learning. Yes, that's one thing I'm learning in this trading group is that, you know, we are taught take out student loans, get credit cards, rack up bills. Oh, and then your credit's jacked up, and then
Mhm.
you have little what they call cash. You have little cash flow, and so now you're at the stage like, okay, what is happening? You're depending on your
Hamstring as
nine to
well.
five, and your 9 to 5 can't take care of every single thing.
Mhm.
So how do you think wealthy people really get wealthy? They have other resources they pull from.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm learning the experience.
Well, I told my sister I guess a few days ago. He got sick and he passed away in 2018. But his biggest thing was, oh, sorry,
I'm sorry. We're gonna go back
no,
in. All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Sorry, I almost missed my mark. We have such a great conversation off air. We're definitely going to have another conversation about all things finances. I have a guy who I can call on that can definitely help shed some light on that. But we're going to move on. Today is all about Delta Sigma Theta
yes,
Sorority Incorporated. It is their Founders Day, and Dr. Lisa Jones Matthews has joined me today for this wonderful conversation. I hope that everyone has been enjoying it so far. Thank you for everyone that has checked in on the Facebook Live feed. And then just real quickly, want to circle back to something you were talking about before we went to the break, and about us all working together, sharing our knowledge and information with each other. And it reminded me of the African philosophy called Ubuntu. Another UBUNTU, and basically says, I am because you are. We are who we are because someone else and what they did. And so we don't live alone. We need to depend on each other. We have to depend on each other. The shade that we are enjoying now were the seeds planted, many generations ago. So we need to, again, in turn, plant more seeds that will grow into the shade trees for future generations to enjoy. That's my 2 cents of the day.
no, it is so, so true. Um, Working together as community, the World AIDS Day event, we worked with our D9 sisters in that event. Wonderful, wonderful, because HIV AIDS is affecting our community, and all of us, in D9, we know this. And so, as women, especially, the highest percentage of new cases are happening in women. That's something that we all wanted to let our community know. So, we work together in the Zoom setting, so we're socially distanced safe. And it was an amazing conversation. It was definitely for adults, but it was an amazing, amazing conversation and an amazing opportunity to work with each other. And I think that's what we have to do now in this virtual setting is we have to work together. You know,
Mhm.
my members are tired of Zoom. Your members are tired of Zoom. My family's tired of Zoom. Your family's tired of Zoom. We have to work together because we have some information that's the same that we need to share to our community and let them know that this is something that all of us are working to bring awareness to.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So in this last segment, since it's fairly short, I
Oh my
want to give you
goodness,
the
it is
opportunity.
almost over.
I want to give you the opportunity to share what legacy you want to leave behind. When you are no longer able to be as physically active as you want to be in Delta, but you're that lady on a cane or whatever the case. What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Well, as a Delta, as a professional woman, I want people to say she was a Delta, she was a very professional lady, and I want people to remember about me that Delta had passion. That Delta had passion. She was encouraging and she truly had passion. So I want you to know if you are wanting to better yourself, I want you to know she was passionate about helping me. She was passionate about encouraging me. She was passionate about her speaking. She was passionate about making sure that we were in the know, getting the education and the information out. That's what I'm passionate about because it's not so much that I know everything, it's that I can give you the resources you need to go find it. That's one thing that my parents really instilled in me was I might not be XYZ. I might not be a professional person. I might be a blue collar, low income, but I'm going to pour so much into you that you can be more than. And I want people to know that if there's anything that I can do to pour more into you through encouragement, through words, through service, let me know because that's what Deltas do. We serve our community. And I just want people just to truly know that. This is about service. This is about being passionate in your service. This is about being passionate in your community.
Yes, ma'am. All right. We have some more comments. Jessica McDuffie was agreeing with some of the comments we were making earlier about, community. And
Mhm.
she said, yes, the time is now. Amanda Moffett Donovan says, happy Founders Day. Um, Linda Johnson says, Kaylee K represents kindness with love and everyday living. Thank you, Linda. And Jessica says, true, all of these services are my true passions and everyday goals and mission. If I can volunteer to help in any way, I'm available. Inbox me. All
I
right,
love
Jessica, you said it.
it. I love it. I love it. That's what we need. That's how our community gets stronger. Is when we work together, regardless of what colors you wear, regardless of your faith, just go out here and help our community because that's what we need. This is about service. If this quarantine has not taught us anything, but it has taught me love. It has taught me that time it truly is precious and that you have to reach out. You have to reach out to people you know and love, people that you're just associated with to let them know that you love them, that you care that our community is getting better.
Righty. Um, and so I know we don't have the undergraduates on, the call with us, but um, what are some ways that you all try to impact their lives and mentor them? Because sometimes when you're young, you want to party, you want to kick it, you want to do the fun Delta stuff. Like, how do you try to help? I mean, not to say they need to be kept in line, because I've met some of them. They're very mature young ladies.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Well, with the undergraduate chapter, they have a council of advisors. They have a
Okay.
primary advisor who is Dr. Melissa Jackson,
Yay,
and they
doctor.
have a full council of advisors who work with them and show up to things. And it's just, to me, when you look at advisor, what they're doing is trying to help to train them and keep them under policy you know what I'm saying, because you're still young. I mean, this is college. There's opportunities for everything, but an advisor is out here saying, these are the things that we need from you, and it kind of helps keep everybody on track. But that's the same thing that you would do if a young person wasn't in a sorority. You don't want them going out here partying and losing scholarships. You don't want them out here partying and getting kicked out for bad grades. You know, it's a part of the mentorship, just trying to make sure that they're staying focused. Staying focused with your education because you came to school for an education.
Yes, ma'am.
Being a Delta is the crimson and cream icing on that cake, but you came to school to get this education, and that
Yes, ma'am.
education is going to be a foundation for you to put in and build up somebody else who wants to be a Delta or who doesn't want to be a Delta. you know
Okay.
it is a foundation for you to get even more. And so that's kind of how I take the advisors. If I see one of my younger sorors out and about, I try to encourage them, let them know how much I love them and how proud I am. I mean, looking back in the 90s, going to college, what kind of craziness? What were we thinking? Because you get all this freedom and it's so much fun, but I can still think back. I had people encouraging me, trying to keep me in line and keep me focused on things that we need to do. Come on back over. That's anyone. That is anyone. But I'm just so proud of them. I'm proud of the impact that they're making because they have the energy. They have that energy. They are so passionate. I love it. I love it. I see some of myself in that, but not all of it. But I see a little bit of myself in that, and it's so much. I don't know. It's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see the youth and passion that they have for their education and in Delta. It's just wonderful. I love it. I love
All right.
it.
So in our last minute, any shout outs?
I would like to shout out all the members of the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Sorors, I love you. Happy Founders Day. Turn all the way up until you go to work and then turn it down just a little bit. I want everyone to know that we as an organization, we love you. This virus it has taken our face-to-face time away, but we as a community can only get stronger. But happy Founders Day to everyone in the cluster for Arkansas, Cluster 3. Whoop, whoop. I know I'm going to forget so many people, but I just want to say happy Founders Day to everyone. I can't hardly stop smiling. I mean, I'm probably not even worth being around today because I'm head to toe.
Well, if you don't do anything, well, you might have to. I know you say you don't really do social media, but you might do a little photo shoot, change outfits here and there, like do something. Do
Well,
something.
the stuff I hadn't gotten into in forever. Yeah, I might have to. I might have to do a little something. But I just want to say happy Founders Day to all of my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Know that there will be celebrations out that have come out for national. If you don't know about them, reach out to a soror. But just happy Founders Day. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope that you all have a great and blessed day. And join us tomorrow for another organization. All righty. Thank you so much, Dr.
No
Lisa.
problem. I'm so sorry if I've been on it better. I would have done this better, but
No.